Welcome to Empowered with Marquita and Michelle, where we are doing life with Jesus. Yes, we are.
Yes.
And so episode 4, we talked about fear and fear of making a decision or making the wrong decision. Because really fear comes from, it's just like when people say they're afraid of flying. No, you're not afraid of flying. You're afraid of crashing and dying.
Absolutely.
Or I'm afraid to get on a cruise. The result of flying.
Absolutely.
What could happen, fears come from that. Or fear of, getting on a cruise ship because you can't drink all that water. No, your fear really is of drowning.
Yes.
But where the peace comes is hearing the voice of God for yourself.
Absolutely.
It's an individual walk. It's like how God speaks to you.
Yeah.
And so we just want to encourage you to just test it, try it. So now we are going to talk about the challenges. And so the last episode we spoke about the challenges for you with moving to Florida and all the things that came with that. And then the breakthroughs that came after that, how God confirmed over and over again that he had called you to move here.
Absolutely.
But, excuse me. One thing we did not get to which was a challenge for you. Let's just say we grew up in a time period where a lot of people in the African American community don't swim or don't learn how to swim, don't take swimming lessons. There's a big fear with grandparents of water,
drowning.
Like I know, because children back in their day, the only place to swim was like in the rivers and stuff.
Yeah.
So, they weren't in a pool that said 2 feet, 3 feet with the little floaties on, like back in the day.
Right.
So when you're raised in a generation that does that, water, it can become very fearful when you see it. Like I said, as far as the ocean water goes, we used to come down for spring break, go to South Florida and all that, because we had some relatives that let us stay there with them and things like that. And I always went to the beach and took a picture, maybe with the water coming up to my legs, but I never wanted to swim in water, ocean water or Gulf water or whatever, because I'm like, there's a whole world.
Right.
What I would like to do is learn how to scuba dive, because I would like to see the animals in their natural habitat.
Absolutely.
I'm just one of those people that don't like. So when we were growing up at the zoos back in the day, animals were in cages. Or if you're familiar with Curious George, he was in a cage, like at the zoo. The man in the yellow hat would rescue him or whatever. But so animals in captivity have always been a thing for me, not liking to see them that way. But when I was a kid, my mom didn't want my brother and I to have a fear of swimming. So she sent us to swimming lessons, and then we had an above ground pool that was like 5 foot, but we learned. And so, cause she didn't want us to be fearful. Marquita's experience is a little bit different.
Just a smidgen.
You want to talk about it? Here you go.
Here you go. So basically with me, my mother, she don't mess around with water unless she controlling it. So I'm the same way with that. So even gym was the one class I got an A in back in the day, right? I almost flunked because I wasn't swimming, okay? I was like, nope. But anyway, so fast forward to in Georgia, Whitewater, we took me and another friend of mine then took the children from the church to Whitewater Park, okay? And I expressed, I don't mess around with water unless I'm controlling it. So y'all do y'all thing, and I'm gonna do mine, you know what I'm saying? I'll be near you if you need some help. So we get there, I'm chilling, I'm fine. Marquita, come on, it's just a wave pool. Now the wave pool, we all know what a wave pool is. Wave pool maybe come right to your waist, if that. Okay, cool. I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I ain't trying to act like I'm scared with these kids, so I'm gonna make it do what it do. So I get in the water in the wave pool, and when I say it was hundreds of people in the wave pool, that's another thing. It's a bunch of people, I don't know nothing about. I don't mess around with that. So anyway, so it's hundreds of people in the wave pool. And so, we're walking. I'm like, okay, this ain't bad. And as I see people jumping up on the donut floaties, the floaties would come up and they would jump up and they would kind of glide, I'm like, oh, I can do that, right? I said, I wouldn't have to touch the water then. So this is what I'm thinking to myself. As I thought that, a floaty comes my way. I'm like, okay, this must be the Lord. So I grab it, right? And I pull it to myself, and I mimicked what I saw everybody else doing. Put it there, jumped on it, and somehow I missed, okay? And I went under. My knees folded, and I was on the way to the light. I was going to see Jesus. I knew that was it. I was underwater, okay? And I knew that my life was over. I was thinking about everything that I did wrong. for like maybe 15 seconds, y'all, I'm underwater and my knees is folded and it's like, that's it. As I'm clowning and saying I'm drowning and all this other stuff, I heard the Holy Spirit say, stand up. Yes. I said, right? My knees unfolded, okay, and I slowly came up out the water, like Rambo, right? When I say the entire water park was looking at me in disgust, okay? They were like, it is waist high, like, I'm like, you almost drowned. I almost drowned. Like, get me and you gonna let me drown? And the friend back there, she used to be a lifeguard, and I was like, how dare you? You a lifeguard, you almost let me drown. She was like, girl, all you gotta do is stand up. And I just felt like, when I say y'all, everybody was like,
You said all the little kids was like, what's wrong with her?
And it was like the world stopped when I came about the water. And everybody was just like, and they just kind of rolled their eyes like this shit, like rolled their eyes like, oh my gosh, and turned around. And it went back to normal, okay? And everybody knows that I'm a little dramatical sometimes, I've been told that before. But the thing is, when the Holy Spirit says stand up, it was like no more worries. It was like, oh, okay.
All I had to do was stand up.
All I gotta do is stand up to alleviate all this fear, to stop being in the situation I'm in. Just listen to what the Holy Spirit said and stand up. And I just thank the Lord for that, because that, as Michelle said, made a segue for my life, like standing up on what He said, standing on His word, standing up on. If I see something, you know what I'm saying, and it's not about the right, I'm going to say it. Sometimes I probably shouldn't, but I do. And I pray, that the Lord forgives me if it's the wrong thing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what we're genuinely saying
Yes.
is you will have challenges.
Yes.
Jesus is our example. He had challenges with the very people that He came to help. And so through those challenges, you are not alone. Even in John 16:33, where He says, in this world, you will have tribulations.
Yes.
You will have trials. You will have
trials.
challenges.
Yes.
You will have obstacles. But He says, be of good
Circumstances.
cheer, because I've overcome the world.
Yes.
And so one of the biggest challenges for me, and why I wanted you to share that story, is the fear that I'm alone. Because sometimes when you've been single for so long, the lie of the enemy is, if I shut down, my whole life collapsed. Oh, I won't have rent money, I won't have car money, I won't have gas money, I won't have food to eat, won't have, like, if it's all on me. And
right.
What happens if I get sick? What happens if, what happens if something's going on with my family and I need to leave town and I don't have enough time to take off? Or what happens if this, that? And the enemy will play with the thoughts in your mind.
Yes.
And the fear comes because then you think, well, who could I call? Who could I? And the circles we run in, it's like, nope, and nope. Hey,
I ain't got it.
You got $20 till Friday.
I ain't got it.
Girl, you should have called me last week. It's like,
On payday.
Can I hold 100 till? Well, see, what happened was,
That
it's like, so you start thinking you're out here alone, know? And so the thing for me, the challenge for me has been, like, I literally, when those thoughts come, and thoughts will come, when those thoughts come, I have to say out loud, Lord, you said you would never leave me nor forsake me. You said you are always with me. You said you are here. And then I have to remind myself, one of the things that Marquita and I do on my lowest days, like, because everybody, life be life.
Life be lifing.
Life be lifing. It's just, it's going to do what it's going to do.
Yes, it is.
And so sometimes you wake up, nothing's even happened yet. And there's this heaviness, anxiety, depression. Oh Lord, what have I done with my life?
Right.
I don't know.
It happens.
Have I done anything correctly? Have I done anything right? Are you with me? Are you really with me? Because like a lot of times, even our pastor said Sunday, she said, former disappointments, or like maybe you like really thought, because what we're not sharing or haven't shared so far are times that we really thought we heard the Lord. Like I just knew, oh yes, this was God. I know it's God, and nope. It was
wasn't.
not. Missed him by about a mile, whatever.
17 miles.
But the beautiful thing with doing life with Jesus is he is always there to pick you up,
Yes.
dust you off, and
Yes.
say, that doesn't mean don't ever step out in faith again.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you don't hear me on a regular basis. So
Right.
one of my strategies is that I will call Marquita and I will remind myself through our testimonies
Yeah.
of what God did before.
Yeah.
And it starts to release the stress, just like the stories we're sharing with you. We have lots of testimonies from Florida,
A
but
lot.
we're just thinking about some of the things in Georgia that God did and has done. And
Right.
so just be real practical with you, because doing life with Jesus is real practical.
Real practical.
So we both have an incident where God provided gasoline for us supernaturally.
Listen.
And totally 2 different times, 2 different ways. And it was all God. So,
Totally.
I was like maybe a day or 2 before payday and needed to drive somewhere. Anyway, was low on gas, did not have any money, didn't have a credit card at that time. I don't think I had any credit cards at that time. And I was just like, Lord, maybe I have $5 or $10 in my account. This was years ago. And I was like, well, maybe if I use my debit card, you know how sometimes they'll let you go over your limit, and then you just paid a $40 fee, which
Right.
banks make billions of dollars off of that.
Right.
But anyway, at that time I was willing to do that. So I was like, Lord, I need gas. I'm gonna have to stop, because it's gonna be worse if I run out and mess up my car. Even if I called somebody to come help, they're gonna be like, you got some gas
Right.
money?
Exactly right.
We just told you our circle is not just balling, So anyway,
That was in Florida.
It was in Georgia. So anyway,
Georgia, my bad.
it
That
was
was in
like,
Georgia.
so pull into the Quick Trip to the QT.
QT.
And I get out and I look at the pump and it says prepaid $25. And I'm like, looking around. Now, on the other side of the pump, at the next pump, there's a police officer's car. So I'm scared to get this gas, because I'm thinking the officer went in and prepaid on the police
Right,
department's
right,
account.
right.
And then when he comes out and he can't get gas, he's gonna run back in and let them know they put it on the wrong
Right.
pump. So I'm standing there waiting, all nervous and all this. And then the police officer pulls off. Nobody, then I'm waiting, then I'm thinking, oh, they're gonna come through the speaker system and say, hey, we
Right.
cutting that off. You didn't prepay,
Right.
whatever. But anyway, eventually got over the fear and took the pump. I was like, Lord, is this you?
Right.
Put the $25 in my car, put the pump back and praise Jesus that he provided gas for me supernaturally. Supernaturally. But wouldn't have even thought to even ask God about gasoline had I not heard Marquita's testimony about how God provided gasoline for her supernaturally one day when she needed it.
So I was
you
out
lived
of
in
gas.
East Point at that time.
I was in East Point, and I was out of gas. I don't know where I was going, no telling, but I was out of gas. And I was I'm like, Lord, I don't have no money, I don't have no gas. Like Michelle said, nothing in the bank. Hey, it was just a lot going on back then. So
A lot going on.
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Blessed
Praise
beyond
God.
measure right now. Okay, focus. So I kept driving. I'm like, okay, I got to go here, do this, do that, and I don't have any gas. I'm riding, and the radio guy comes on and was like, we're giving away free gas at the Quick Trip on Cascade. I think it was Cascade.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you ain't said nothing but a word. And I roll over there and I get my car filled up, but
by the radio station
by the
for
radio
free.
station for free. You know what I'm saying? And usually, usually I didn't listen to the radio station. I usually played music, but that particular day I was listening to the radio station. God is so faithful. He does stuff, it doesn't make sense in the natural, and it'll, and again, if you hear the Lord on a specific or on the thing, it's going to be like, okay, God, you did do it that way. Just like parting the Red Sea. That's not it, you know what I'm saying? And they walked across on dry land and everything was congealed. Everything was congealed. They walked on dry land. Nobody got stuck. And then as soon as they got across, it closed. That's not something normal. That's not a normal getaway. You feel me? God does things like that where you be like, you know it was God. You have no doubt in your mind that had to be God, because I know that there is no other way I could have did that. God is so faithful, and like Michelle says, supernatural. And Michelle says, you know, that God will put his super with your natural and make things happen, you know, and cause things to occur that is not the normal thing that would occur in your normal life. And that's how you know that it's God.
Yeah, because, you know, people will always say, well, I never get miracles like that, or I never have it happen. Well, the thing is, you have to be in a situation where the miraculous is needed.
Come on.
Because
Come on.
if you're never in a situation where, you know, because like to step out and move, yes, I had a job, you had a job, and you got an apartment and all that with it. Well, but for me, I had to stay with friends for like 30 days. God gave me favor with a couple, and they said I could stay in the left wing of their house for like 30 days. And then I had to believe God to get an apartment. So during that 30 days, I was looking, and I had no idea that the housing market in Florida was so competitive. Even anything that's even remotely affordable, like, you know, 25 applications, 35 applications. And I will say this, when I moved, I was gonna get this beach bungalow. And I mean, like, when I say beach bungalow, I literally was like a half a block from the beach on Treasure Island. Beautiful. I could have walked the beach, see the sunset and the sunrise every day, tourist area and all that. And I pretty much made up my mind about going there. But there was this one other place that I was supposed to go check after church, and literally was about to sign the lease for the other location, because I was like, nope. The Lord brought me to Florida. At least I can get the beach view and all this stuff.
Right.
And so that Sunday after church, I was like, I just felt on the inside like, you still need to go see that other place. And when I go and see the other place, it's not near the beach.
Right.
It was beautiful. It had a walk-in closet.
Right.
It could store. It had a shoe closet.
Right.
It had a bathroom. I'm like with an amazing shower with the white subtop, like a white kitchen with the white. It was everything that I would like, almost like tailored to me. And so after I told the young lady, I said, I'll let you know by tomorrow what I'm going to do. And then, you know, that next day I prayed about it, and God said, move there instead of, but I was just like, man, I really thought I was going to be on the beach, like, you know, do life with Jesus, be on the beach, come to Florida, you know, but little did I know, the very next year, the hurricanes that were going to roll through. I was like, oh, if I had been a half a block away from the beach within walking distance, all my stuff would have been flooded. Like that whole area went underwater.
Right.
And, you know, I'm not from the Sunshine State. So God placed me in a place where I was safe, and I was only 8 minutes away from the office for my job. And everything was convenient for me and all that. But from the outside looking in, it didn't look like. You know, and a lot of times things won't make sense. Like she said, go into the promised land via the Red Sea. No, God was showing his power, his greatness. He was like, no, there's nothing too hard for him. And the other thing that Marquita and I always tell ourselves is, this is temporary. This is not a lifetime sentence.
Absolutely.
I can do anything, I mean, within reason, in the Lord's will. I'll say it that way. Let me preface it with that. I can do anything in the Lord's will if I know this is a temporary thing. You know, it's just like winter doesn't last always. Summer doesn't last always. Hard times don't last always.
Period.
You got to go through. You got to push through. That's why Jesus said, be of good cheer. I've overcome it. Can I go through it with joy? Can I go through it happily? You know, can I go through it listening to him? So no matter what challenges you may face, you know, what it could be health, it could be finances, it could be anything. Talk to him. You know, I'm not saying that you got to, like I said, it's just with God, everything's about the heart. How do you come to him from the heart? He's looking for the trueness of your heart. And so, you know, when you cry out to him, or, you know, say, Lord, help me. Like, I feel like I'm out here by myself. I feel like nothing I had planned is going the way that I had planned. And it's like, you know, his word says he has good plans. It's like, well, Lord, put me on the path of the good plan.
And
it's the prosperous plan. Go ahead.
Right quickly, if I may. And also, now that I serve the Lord and hear him as, you know, as well as I do, and learning to hear him better, I realized that I heard him back in the day when I wasn't serving him. And different situations that I was in and got out of was because the Holy Spirit told me not to go or told me to leave. And I wasn't even serving him. God is so faithful.
He sure is. So we thank you for watching Empowered with Marquita and
And
Michelle,
Michelle,
doing
we're
life
doing
with Jesus.
Jesus.